Hi, loves. Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here, that we're here together. Yeah. So, I'm not sure why, but today felt like the right time to start at the root and work our way up. So, we're gonna do that for the next 2 months together. And see what we find, right? I think there's a way that working through the energetic body and the systems, and by working through, I don't mean to like conquer them or change them, but I mean to spend time with those parts, right? With each of the chakras and each of the sort of like levels of awareness in the body. You can kind of think of them as layers of sediment or layers of different kinds of crystal or stone on top of one another in the earth. And that each one impacts the others, right? It's like a family system or a work system or a life system or a tree communication system. All one impact affects the whole. So even if there's one part in particular, maybe you're not like particularly curious about the pelvic floor or about the solar plexus or whatever it is, but I think there's something kind of powerful about the idea that all things, all parts impact one another, and all parts are sharing information and wisdom with one another. And sometimes a part of our life or a part of our vision of ourselves, we sort of hold in a special container, a container that is like an exception to the rules, or in some way we see it as existing in a silo, when in fact what we're constantly in relationship with is the fact that all parts are connected and impacting one another. And that at any part of the journey of the cycle of life or the journey of traveling the circle of wholeness, we can change something, we can learn something, we can discover something new, we can be surprised, we can be curious, we can be held and nourished. And we all like usually have a story about a place in our life or a place in our body where we're just not able to be supported. And maybe that's because of a story about worth, like that we're not worthy of being supported in that place or in that way. Maybe it's because it just feels impossible or overcomplicated. And so this inquiry is an invitation to get curious about the parts that you hold as unlovable, unworthy, incapable of receiving care because of them or because of the outside world. And can we engage in the dreaming of possibility that all parts are actually able to be held and worthy of being held? So that's an invitation that I'm offering to myself and offering to you. And I've been reading this book called Pelvic Power, which is kind of amazing, even though the cover is garbage. But I was reading about the pelvic floor, which is really the place where this root chakra, the Muladhara, lives. And a couple of things that really stuck out to me were that it was saying that the pelvic floor has to be both flexible and strong at the same time, which is ultimately like the teaching of sthira and sukha, right? It's the same idea that in many ways, the way they're talking about pelvic floor or the root is the same as the way we talk about an asana, and that it is a place to land, and that we need both sweetness and effort in that place, right? In order to find balance and integrity. So we'll just do a moment of like visualization with the pelvic floor, and you could do this on your back or you could do it sitting up. That can be a nice sukhasana, can be a nice place, legs crossed, to feel the pelvic floor really at the root of your seat here. And wherever you are, you can just take your hands and rub them together, build a little bit of warmth and heat. And once you feel the energy and the temperature starting to amp up, you'll just release and hold them about 5 inches apart. Ooh. And feel into what is between the palms here. Is there some magnetic pull? Is there a tingling? Is there an energy? An energy of the palms themselves, but also the energy of the relationship between the palms. And just notice what that's like. Does it wake you up a little bit? Does it calm you a little bit? Is there a pull or a push? And when you're ready, you can release your hands. Let your eyes close for a moment. Take a big breath in through your nose. And exhale out through your mouth. And letting the eyes stay closed, we'll just take a moment to use the power of imagery here to imagine the two sides of the pelvis, the tuberosities. And between these two sides, there are all of these muscles and connections of the pelvic floor. And can you let yourself imagine that same energy, almost as if you had rubbed the two ischial tuberosities together and are holding them 5 inches apart or 10 inches apart, whatever space they need. Can you imagine and send your energy down and feel into what's happening between the two sides of the pelvis? Just lovingly, gently, let your attention rest there. Notice, is there a little bit of tingling? Is there communication between right and left? Is there a sensation of the pelvis being able to drop down or lift up or hug in or expand out? And just feel that really sort of subtle awakening that happens in that space. You might be able to like activate and engage and lift a little bit if you want to. You might be able to release and open. We're just waking up to infinite possibility in this space at the pelvis. And when you're ready, you can either bring your hands together in front of your heart, or you could sort of make like a diamond shape like this and just hold it. Let's just go back a little bit more. Hold it right at your root between your legs. The arms can rest on the thighs. And maybe pressing the feet into one another helps you to sort of find the out as well as the hug in. And just breathe into that space between the hands, right at the pelvic floor. Feel the energy that is there. It exists there. It may feel dormant, but it does exist. And invite that energy into practice with you today, into Lila, into play. We call on this energy of Muladhara to reveal to us what it is that we still have to learn about our roots, about our base, about where we begin, and where we return back to. And you might like to Om with your hands like this, really sending the Om between your palms, between your hips. Take a big breath in. Good, y'all. Release the hands, roll your shoulders up, back and down a couple times. Good. And when you're ready, bring your hands out in front of you. Find tabletop position. Starting to roll in little circles here, coming forward into the hands and then back and around. Whatever speed feels right to you, and then switch directions. Let the circles flow the other way. Feel the earth underneath you here. Feel your sits bones widen a little bit. And when you're ready, tuck your toes, stretch back to downward facing dog. Sits bones lift and widen to make space for your pelvic floor to open and soften here. And see if you can invite yourself to really breathe into that space at the base of the pelvis. Just like what I noticed with the Om was, the Om started, and of course it started in the chest, right, where it usually resides for me. And so there was this purposeful sending the energy down. So same with breath. It might be that it initiates in the throat and chest and belly, and you just invite it to also meet you at the base of the pelvic floor. Good, y'all. When you're ready, stretch your right leg up and back into the sky. The pelvic floor is part of extending your energy up and back through your toes. Bend your knees, stack your hips. Inhale, stretch up and back. Feel yourself root down into your left heel. Hug your right knee into your nose. Right foot forward, low lunge. Drop your back knee. Arms reach up. Soft shoulders, soft jaw. Can you send your exhales down to your pelvic floor, almost like there's a seat that you're softening into, made by your breath. Big breath in here. Bring your left hand down to the earth, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, reach your right arm up towards the sky, twist open. Big inhale. Exhale, hand down, step your right foot back, high plank. Breathe in. Exhale, lower knees, chest and chin down to the floor. Cobra pose, inhale. Exhale to lower child's pose, seat to heels. Again, feel your sits bones widen. Space to breathe at the base of your pelvis. Inhale to rise up to tabletop. Good, and then tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. On your inhale, left leg up and back. How's your pelvic floor participating in sending the breath up and back through your toes and down and forward through your fingers? Bend your knee, stack your hips. Left leg up and back. Hug your knee in towards your nose. Step your left foot forward, right knee down. Low lunge, sweep your arms up. And I just noticed my tendency here, right, to take it all up into the shoulders and the ears. The pelvic floor is inviting us down into that seat, into that resting place. Just the right amount of effort. When you're ready, right hand down, right knee lifts up, lift your left arm. Big inhale. Left hand down, step your right foot forward, forward fold. Feet, hips width apart or even wider, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. So feel your pelvic floor spacious here. Your sits bones are lifting up towards the sky. And how does that make space for some release in your head and neck? Really rooted in your legs. To give other parts of you just freedom to take some space. Your shoulders and head hold you up all day. They're lifting us up, right? So just feel into the permission of letting it melt and soften. Good. Feet out, toes out, heels in, Malasana Yogic squat. Same engagement here. Pelvic floor, spacious. And how does that impact your spine and your knees opening wide and your shoulders softening back and down. Big breath in. Exhale, forward fold, toes point forward. Inhale, step your right foot back, lengthen your spine. Exhale, downward facing dog, left foot back. Right leg up and back into the sky, big breath. Right foot forward, low lunge. Back knee down, inhale to rise up. Exhale into the twist, left hand down, left knee up, reach your right arm up towards the sky. And then take it a little wider in the twist. Reach your right arm back, roll to the outer blades of your feet. Inhale, lift your hips, lift your arm. Exhale, drop it down. One more time, inhale, lift up. Pressing the outer blade of the left foot, exhale. Sweep around. Standing splits onto your right foot. Let your shoulders soften. Good. Warrior two, step your left foot back, windmill your arms open. Flip your palms to the sky, exalted warrior. Pelvic floor is softening and taking you down into your relationship with your front foot and with the earth. Take a big inhale here. Exhale, step to the top of the mat. Halfway lift. Fold forward, exhale. Press down into your feet. Inhale, reach tall. Hands to your heart. Take a moment, rub your palms together. Separate them a little bit. Feel the energy between. And almost like you're taking an orb of energy. You're just going to take that energy and take it down to your hips. You can hold it right in front of the hips. Right in front of the womb space there. And breathe as that energy sort of meets and is absorbed in to the pelvis. What do you notice there? What comes alive? Take that energy with you, chair pose, sit back. Feet can be hips width or together, whatever feels right and gives you the most space to breathe into the hips. Big inhale here. Exhale, sweep the arms back by your hips. Feel into your seat. Inhale, reach tall, seat stays steady. Exhale, sweep back. One more time, inhale. Exhale, sweep back. All the way up to standing, reach up, arch back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, step your left foot back. Exhale, right foot back, downward facing dog. Left leg up and back, inhale. Left foot forward, low lunge, take your time. Breathe in, reach tall. Exhale into the twist, hand down, back knee up, lift. Big breath in here, and then reach left arm back, outer edges of the feet. On your inhale, lift your hips, lift your arm. Exhale, drop it down. One more time, inhale, lift. Exhale, spin around to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen. Standing splits, exhale. Good, big breath in here. Exhale, back, warrior two. Bend your front knee, windmill the arms open. Flip your palms, exalted warrior. So really softening into the spaciousness. There's so many messages intellectually, emotionally, sexually, spiritually that tell us we need to contain this part, right? All of these sacred parts at the base of the pelvis, between the legs, at the base of the spine. So what's it like to actually feel that part descend and spread open? No more containment than is necessary, but probably we've already got much containment. So spaciousness is a medicine. Take a big inhale, top of the mat, exhale, windmill the hands down. Halfway lift, deep breath, spacious, open. Exhale, fold, release. Good. Yogic squat, toes out, heels in, sink it down. Again. Spacious. Almost like the two sides of your pelvis are opening to make room for your center sprout, right? That seed right at the base of you to extend down and plant into the earth. Yeah, right hand down, left arm up and back, twist open. You could take a bind around your low back if that feels free, if that feels spacious. Big inhale here. Exhale, forward fold. Step your left foot back. High lunge, lift up. Right foot is forward. Take an inhale here. Twist open to the right, right arm back, left arm forward. Inhale, open here. Exhale, soften. Warrior two, windmill open. Straighten your right leg. Triangle pose. You might grab your block or a couple of VHS tapes or whatever you've got around, right, to stack under your right hand so that you're not working so hard to reach to the earth that we forget that this shape is a triangle of relationship between the earth, both feet, and the pelvic floor. So see if you can draw that full triangle with your breath here. If the shoulders and arms are overactive, they take us away from the root of the shape. Don't let yourself be working so hard that you don't have time for the liberatory parts of what you're reaching for. Good. Circle the left arm down and around. Bend your right knee, left arm by your left ear, extended side angle, maybe with a block under the hand or elbow to knee. Good, press down into both feet, exalted warrior, lift up and back. Exhale, chaturanga, handstand hop, anything you like to get back to downward facing dog. Take your time. And then a big inhale to widen hips. And exhale to release. Lift your heels, bend your knees. Hop forward to Malasana or take a walk. Toes out, heels in. Left hand comes down and forward. Right arm up and back. Good, big inhale here. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step your right foot back. Get solid on the exhale. For an inhale up, high lunge. Exhale, twist open to the left, left arm back, right arm forward. The front and back of your pelvis are expanding out as you reach out with the fingertips. And then warrior two when you're ready. Nice, y'all. Straighten your left leg. Take your time. Reach for triangle pose. Check out especially the sides of the neck for over-efforting. What's coming from the core of you, from the base of you, is actually enough here. Good. We're going to slowly circle the right arm down and around by your left hip. Bend your left knee. Extended side angle. Right arm by your right ear. Spiral your heart just a little bit up towards the sky as your pubic bone reaches forward. Breathe into the front of your pelvis. Go ahead, press into the front foot, exalted warrior, lift up and back. Exhale down, downward facing dog, any way you like to get there. A vinyasa, a hop, a big breath. Good. Wave-like motion. Let the back of your heart lead. Inhale, come forward, high plank. Bend your knees, circle up and back, downward facing dog. Again, like that, ripple forward. Exhale. One more time. Inhale, like a wave, all the way through your body. Exhale, circle up and back. Right leg up and back into the sky. Good. Right foot forward, low lunge. Use your inhale to sweep your arms up. Exhale to twist, left hand down, back knee up. Spiral open, outer edges of the feet, reach your right arm back. Good, circle around, standing splits towards the top of the mat. Take a big inhale. Warrior two, step it all the way back, take your time. Straighten your right leg, deep breath in. Triangle pose. Circle your left arm down and around. Extended side angle, bend your front knee. Inhale, exalted warrior. Take all the time that you need. Exhale to half moon. Maybe take your block with you. Can you breathe into the base of your pelvis and feel it open? Soft, spacious, and strong here. Good. All the way up to standing. Hug your left knee in towards your chest. Stretch your left heel out in front of you. Lift your arms up. Warrior three. Take your time. Sweep it back. Bend your right knee. Step your left foot back. High lunge. Lift up. Twist open. Right arm back. Left arm forward. Inhale. Exalted twist. Left hand to the back of the... Nope, right hand to the back of the left thigh. Left arm up. Good. Windmill, Skandasana to the back. Left bum cheek to your left heel. Spiral around back of the mat. Drop your right knee. Half splits pose. Good. Take your weight a little bit forward. Take your left heel out in front of you. You're coming to a half frog and a half splits. So I've got a right angle with my right knee behind me and my left leg extended out to the side. Options here, I can fold towards center between the two knees. I can turn towards my left leg and fold over that outstretched leg. Play around with it. Play around with feeling your sits bones settle into the earth and soften open a bit. And what is available there with your pelvis so close to the earth? Is there a yield? Even in the midst of maybe tightness in the right hip. Good. Slow, deep breaths. Eventually we'll take a side bend, so left arm on the inside. You can reach for the instep of the left foot or over the left leg, and right arm reaches up and over. Just let gravity do the work here. Let your right arm be soft. Good. Inhale to rise up. Gentle with your right knee. Lean back a little bit so you can swing your right leg around for Janishirsasana. Right foot tucks in towards your inner left thigh. Inhale, lengthen. Hands on either side of your left thigh and walk it out over your left leg. Breathe space along the back of your ribs. Let your exhale descend all the way down to your pelvic floor and your root. Good. Slowly You're going to take your right hand behind you, press into your right shin. Lift your left arm up and back, open. Good, big inhale. And then keep pressing into your right hand. Lift your left leg up. You're in gate pose with the left leg extended and lifting away from the earth. Half moon on the floor. Maybe Chapasana on the floor. Might be a little off your mat. It's okay. Release. Open it up. Swing your left leg around top of the mat. Pyramid pose. Tuck your back toes straight. Good, grab your block. We're gonna set up for revolve triangle. So block underneath your right hand and right shoulder. Lengthen, tailbone back, heart forward, and then maybe left arm lifts or left hand to your low back. Take a big inhale. Exhale, top of the mat, hands come down, right foot steps to meet the left. Feet hips width apart, interlace your fingers. Bend your knees a lot. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold. And what's happening in the pelvic floor? Does it tighten as you're focusing on other things? Can you leave space there? Even as the shoulders open. Stay for as long as you like. Malasana when you're ready. And just some deep, full breaths. Stay right here. You could take crow pose, hands on the earth. Right? Just playing with just the right amount of engagement without gripping in the pelvic floor. If that feels like a balance that's too much to work with today, totally okay. You can do the exact same work right here in Malasana. Just enough lift of the net of the pelvic floor to support you, and just enough give to let yourself feel like you're not having to be constantly vigilant. Deep, full breaths. We're going to land in down dog, so take your time. If you're in Malasana, you can fold forward at any moment. You could take a halfway lift, make some space, and then step back for down dog or chaturanga. And collectively, we'll take a big breath in. And an exhale out through the mouth. Stretch your left leg up and back into the sky. Step your left foot forward, low lunge, drop your back knee down. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, right hand down, right knee up. Lift your left arm. Open, sweep it to the back, roll to the outer blades of your feet. Good, come around top of the mat. Standing splits, launch. Take a big inhale here. Gently bend the front knee, step back, warrior two. Inhale, straighten your left leg. Exhale, reach. Triangle pose. Take your time, inhale, open it up. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, exalted warrior. Exhale, half moon. Expand out through the pelvic floor. Send it down towards the earth and let that help you take flight here. Good, y'all. Big inhale. Stay for the exhale. Inhale all the way up to standing. Hug your right knee in. Stretch your right heel forward. Lift your arms. Good. Pelvic floor descends. Leg lifts. Sweep it back. You can rest the foot for a moment. Warrior 3. Give yourself lots of space to breathe. You might even make that same diamond shape and just hold it at your lower back or your pelvis and feel that whole part expand here. It's all lifting skyward. Good. Slowly step back. High lunge. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, twist open. Left arm back, right arm forward. Front and back of pelvis expand to stabilize. And then twist, exalted. Hand to the back of your thigh. Good, spiral down, sweep to the back, Skandasana. Right bum cheek to your right heel. Yeah, feel your pelvic floor widen and open. Hands to the earth, pivot around back of the mat, pyramid pose. Good, bend your right knee, drop your left knee to the earth, half splits. You're going to take your right heel out and forward a little bit. Your left leg is behind you if that's okay for the knee. Right angle behind you, half frog and half splits. Good. It might feel nice to have a blanket underneath you so your pelvic floor can still be in really active communication with what's underneath. Or it might feel nice to let the dust settle here. I can definitely feel that my left hip is much more sort of cranked up and away from the earth. So then I get to draw some of the stability from my right hip up and across the pelvic space to support the relaxation in the left hip. So feel into that sort of in between of the hands of what's happening in the energy between. Are they sharing resources and support? You could fold towards center. You could fold over the right knee. And then a side bend, right arm on top of or inside, reaching for the instep of the right leg. Left arm arcs up and over. Head can even rest in your right hand if that feels good. Good. Take all the time you need to lift up. You're going to very gently lean back a little bit and carefully swing your left leg around for Janu Shirshasana. Left heel to your inner right thigh. Spiral to the right leg. Inhale, lengthen pelvic floor, heart, forehead. And then fold. And you might play with how much reach there is out away from the hips, out along the right leg, and then also how much soft give there is back into the seat, into the left lower back, into the tailbone descending towards the earth. Inhale, just slowly rise up. Plant your left hand back behind you. Press into your left shin. Hips reach forward, belly soft, right arm lifts. Good, now gaze down towards your left hand. Lean into your left hand and your left shin. Lift your right leg up. You're in gate pose. You're off the mat, it's perfect. Maybe a Chapasana variation here. What does your pelvis know about balancing that you can feel in this shape that it's harder to find in half moon, right? Farther away from the earth. Release, open it up, and you'll gently swing your right leg around. Plant your hand in front of you. Hands frame the front foot, swing the left foot back. Pyramid pose. Grab your block underneath your left hand. Inhale, lengthen your spine, pull your right hip back a little bit, and twist open to the right, revolve triangle. If what we circulate through the entire body starts at the root, then how do we want to begin the message that we're sending to our insides? Right? What do we want the tone to be? Right hand down to the earth. Step forward to the top of the mat. Malasana, yogic squat. This time grab a block or a pillow or whatever you've got around to rest underneath your seat. I like to have a block on like the low, sort of medium wide setting, but you can play around with it. Just enough to where any tendency to sort of rock forward and get into the arches of the feet can be relaxed by sitting back on the block just slightly. And what does that allow for? In your feet spreading and opening, in the front of your pelvis expanding, breathing into the electricity between the hip points at the front. And you might like to hold that diamond in front of the heart here. Thumb and second and third fingers together. And breathe into the two sides of the body coming together at the pelvis, at the belly, at the heart, at the throat, at the forehead. Trust what you see here. If there are visuals, if there are smells, if there are thoughts, just welcome them in. All the parts of you are welcome in the place where everything meets. Right at the center. Crow pose again if you like. A forward fold if it feels good. We're going to meet in downward facing dog when you're ready. Three times with your breath. Inhale, ripple forward, high plank. Exhale, circle, bend your knees up and back. Inhale, come forward. Pelvis expands. Exhale, bend your knees up and back. One more time. Exhale. Swoop it up and back. Right leg up and back into the sky. Step your right foot forward, low lunge. Inhale. Sweep your arms up. Exhale, twist. Left hand down, right arm up. Outer edges of the feet. Sweep the right arm back. Skandasana to the back of the mat, all the way around. Left bum cheek to your left heel. Back of the mat, pyramid pose, straighten both legs. Lengthen your spine. Bend your left knee, warrior three. All the way up to standing. Hug your left knee in. Spread your sitting bones. Figure four. Arms in any variation. Right ankle over left knee. Breathe into your seat, reaching back, softening open. Stand tall, right knee in towards your chest. Standing split, sweep it back. Step all the way back. Side plank, outer edge of the right foot. You can step your left foot back and stack, or any variation that feels good. Maybe wild thing. Left foot behind you. Pelvis reaching up and open. Squeeze the legs back together. Left hand to the earth. Lower all the way onto your belly. Any way you like to get there. Cobra pose. Exhale down. Take your hands out wide, and as your hands come wide, feel your hip points widen so that your pelvis can soften towards the earth. Bladder relaxes. Kidneys from the back relax down and into the earth. Glutes relax. And instead of tightening to lift up, feel a lengthening from the back of your head all the way down through your tailbone and your heels. Keep that length and space as you lift up for high cobra. Good, left shoulder down, look over to the right. Inhale, find center, lengthen space. Right shoulder down. Inhale, find center. Left shoulder down. Inhale up. Right shoulder down. Find center, breathe in. Lights shining out the crown of the head and the tail. Exhale all the way down. Your choice, bow pose, focusing on the spaciousness at the front of the pelvis, or locust pose, or sphinx pose. Breathing into the electricity between the two sides of the hips. And I just want to be clear that electricity doesn't always feel like sunshine and butterflies, right? Electricity just means energy. So we don't have to like have a judgment call about whether we're feeling blissful in our pelvis or whether we're feeling blocked in our pelvis, right? Probably like both and neither is always happening. The invitation is to be with the space. Much like how we like to be with other people or have other people spend time with us. We don't want them to come in and like tell them everything that we need to change or be different, nor would we do that to people that we love. But we do really thrive from accompaniment. And so here we are with vitality and curiosity, keeping a part of us that has to do with where we began and where we begin each day and where we begin each interaction, tending to the roots. And a lot of us have a lot of, I'm just going to speak for myself, I have a lot of judgment about my roots, like mistakes made as a younger person, ways that my environment was not supporting me and maybe I was chaotic to my environment, right? So often this comes with like a lot of preconceived ideas. What's it like to meet those things and say hello and say, I understand why you're here. And also here I am, willing to listen to the story that was, and also willing to experience what is happening right now, which may or may not actually adhere to the story that was. Well, what a gift it is that we get to keep coming back through these cycles so that we continually get to refine the story, understand the story, release the story, right? So whatever part of you is holding on to any judgment about what you encounter when you think about the beginnings of your life, of your way of being. Can you just exhale that judgment out, literally through the base of your pelvis, out your legs, out the bottoms of your toes. Like a clear, cool wave of water. Out it goes and into another thing, right? It's meant to be in the next wave. And here we are again, and another wave comes. And what a gift it is to get to start again every time. And how hard it is to start again every time. Take an inhale, make some space. If you haven't already, come to rest on your belly. We'll stretch back to child's pose, seat to heels. Your knees can come wide, your arms can come wide. Space between the shoulders and space between the hips. You might feel drawn to a little headstand play here, or dolphin pose, or forearm stand. Or you could rest in child's pose and really breathe in to your back body. And when you're ready, downward facing dog. Take as much time as you need. Sweep your left leg up and back into the sky. Big breath in. And step your left foot forward, low lunge. Take your time. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, twist, right hand down, left arm up towards the sky. Roll to the outer blades of your feet, sweep your left arm back. And Skandasana all the way around the top of the mat, right bum cheek to your right heel. Good, pivot around, front of the mat, pyramid pose for a moment. Bend your front knee, warrior three. All the way up to standing. Hug your left knee in. Figure four, left ankle over right knee. Arms could open or hands come together at the center. Good, all the way to standing. Hug your knee in, arms lift up. Standing splits, hands down, left toes up and back. Step your left foot all the way back, left hand down, side plank, step your right foot back. Maybe wild thing, or you lift your right foot. Good, find your way to side plank. Hand down, high plank, inhale here. Slow chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Stretch back, downward facing dog. Sweep your left leg up and back. Step your left foot forward, warrior two. Reach your arms up past your ears, hook your thumbs, reach tall with your hands as you soften down into the shape. Feel your pelvic floor soften towards the earth and make some space there. Straighten your legs, lift up through center to the back. Warrior two, arms can keep reaching up, shoulders stay soft. Straighten your leg, come through center. Warrior two to the front, take a big inhale. Exhale, half moon, release the arms, open them out wide. Inhale here. Goddess pose, step back. You can hook your thumbs again and soften down here. Good, little rock side to side. Straighten your legs, lift up. Warrior two to the back. Big inhale. Exhale, let the arms open. Half moon. Pelvic floor spaciousness reaches all the way down to the inner arches of the feet. Step back. Goddess pose. Hook your thumbs. Straighten your legs. Toes in, heels out. Hands to your hips or hands to your low back, whatever you prefer. Inhale, lift your heart. Feel your hips reach forward. And then exhale, fold from here. You could pause at halfway, lengthen. Maybe even have a block out in front of you for support. And you can play from here. You're welcome to twist or take tripod headstand or really soften down into a release, a forward fold. Big exhales. Feel the breath come out through your tailbone and pelvic floor and reach all the way down towards the earth. When you're ready, goddess squat. We're staying low to the floor. Forearms could come down or your hands could be down or you could clasp your ankles. And the pelvic floor is reaching down towards the earth. A little bit of lift here, the pelvis, a little bit of softness. Good. When you're ready, hands out in front of you, straighten your legs. You're going to bend your right knee, but it's not going to externally rotate the way we often do. The toes stay forward, the knee stays forward, and we'll just bend to the right. So the outer left foot stays on the earth. You can walk your hands a little over to the right and breathe into that stretch. Good, and then carefully come back through center, straighten legs. Bend your left knee, toes are pointing forward. Walk your hands over to the left a little bit. Good, straighten. Pivot around, top of the mat. Step forward, come all the way down onto your seat. Good, setting up for Baddha Konasana. We'll start with heels pretty close in towards the pelvis. Peel the inner arches of your feet open. Lengthen up through your spine, but notice if there's the tendency to kind of pop your heart forward and come out of the hips and seat. Can you relax down and into it? And then let the heart expand from there. Take a big breath. And exhale, fold forward. For this variation, I like to hug my elbows in by my sides, but you can also let the arms release out and forward. You might stay with this one, or you might like to lift up and take the feet wide. Same thing, notice the tendency to sort of pop forward or roll way back, and can you find that middle place, sturdy and soft? And then gently fold forward. maybe coming down onto a bolster or a block.
And just see if you can notice the tactile sensation of the earth actually coming up to touch you right at your base. I think we've gotten so many messages about this place being only a place that we access
when we're in a sexual space, right? When we're in a space that is like private or alone, which are just many messages that we could have a whole different class about, right? But at the end of the day, what I really want to say is your pelvic floor and your genitals and your hips and your tush are all really important parts of your body and parts of your energetic body. So to sort of relegate those, as I was talking about in the beginning, like the parts that we sort of say, oh, my embodiment doesn't apply to, it's missing a part of the body that is actually a space of great vitality and creativity and capacity. Can it be a sexual space? Yes. Right? Can it be a stressful space? Absolutely. And it also has great potential to be a space of aliveness and freedom. And practicing embodying this space in, like sort of a boundaried community container, as this is, right, in your own home, but with other people as a part of the practice, is a really interesting experiment in what it's like to like inhabit the actual skin and body of your pelvic floor and of your seat in a space that you're welcomed to be with others, right? That there's something deep and sacred and powerful about you that is perhaps, when it feels right, not necessary to be hidden, and might even be liberatory to be engaged with.
Whatever response your body and heart has to that,
we welcome that, right? We welcome the resistance, we welcome the curiosity, we welcome the aliveness that comes with inhabiting new space. Whenever you're ready, you can walk your hands back in, help your knees to bend if they've been extended, swing around, we're going to lie all the way down onto our backs. And set up for bridge pose. So really feel into your feet on the earth. Zoop. Feel that energy lift up from the earth through your legs up to your hips and pelvis. And then as a natural extension of the sturdiness of the earth, the hips can lift up. They can sway a little side to side. They can explore any variation that feels good here. And if bridge turns into wheel, also perfect. Coming down to rest whenever it feels right. Maybe let your knees windshield wiper side to side a bit. And then you can choose your own adventure. You're welcome to come up for another bridge or wheel, or you can join me here for a stretch, taking a block or a sturdy blanket or pillow and put it underneath your lower back. And we'll take the bridge position on this support. And when you're ready, so I could even see that like my chest wanted to lift as I was thinking about lifting my right leg. So let your chest and shoulders soften. Let your pelvic floor help you and your core help you to lift your right knee up and hug your right knee in towards your chest, holding the back of the right thigh. And then from that place, you can start to extend your left leg, maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit more. We're working on having the first metatarsal of the left big toe down on the mat. And you might feel a nice stretch in your left hip flexor. Straightening the leg all the way is not required for this. It may actually make it impossible to have the metatarsal down. So you can see my knee is pretty bent here. Good. And then really gently hug your left foot back in, release your right foot down to the earth, find your supported bridge. Switch sides. Core helps you lift your left knee in towards your chest, interlace behind the thigh, and you can start to extend your right foot out, and you'll know when it's far enough, right? The first metatarsal is reaching down towards the mat, and your right hip flexor and right side of the belly. Have some stretching sensation, some opening there. And when you play around with this at home, it'll change it a lot depending on how high the bolster or block is underneath you, right? So you can play around with height there. Good. Slowly hug your right foot in, release your left foot. Lift your hips, slide the block out from under you, come all the way down onto your back. Windshield wiper your knees a little side to side. Then we'll take the feet wide, let the knees linger, dipping to the left. You could even cross your left ankle over your right knee and cactus your elbows. Feel the back of your head and the back of your heart soften into the earth. Lift up through center, let both knees dip to the right, maybe right ankle over left knee. Good, up through center. Hug your knees in for happy baby pose or some symmetrical shape on your back. A little rock side to side here. And take your time in any final movements. If you'd like to finish with shoulder stand or legs up the wall, you can explore that. If you're ready for rest, you can come down onto your back and let yourself really melt down into the earth. if you're moving through the shoulder stand series, take your time for plow pose and fish pose. If you're settling into rest, you might just do that palm exercise one more time and feel into the energetic movement between the right and left sides of your body. And coming to rest. With the knowing that coming to rest is always a coming home. Back to your root, back to your beginning. I think in some ways this is why the process of rest and sleep can often hold a lot of anxiety for us, right? Is because in many ways we're returning back to the beginning. And that's where sometimes we return back to worry, especially if that's what our beginning was. So give yourself the grace of not judging if there's anxiousness or an unsettled feeling when you come into rest. The purpose of rest is to help us get closer to feeling settled. It's kind of unfair of us to expect that in entering rest we already feel settled. You are right where you need to be right now. Take all the time that you need here to rest in the rhythm of the earth and the rhythm of your breath. If it feels right to awaken and lift up by releasing Shavasana, feel free. And if you need more time there, feel free to linger. And I'll share with you our animal medicine card this week. It's the snake. And it's a really beautiful, I believe it's called the flower of life is the symbol at the center of it. And then the snake is in a circle all around this flower of life. And I'll read to you. The snake is the guardian of unawakened magic and creative potential. The snake is a symbol of our highest potential. It is said that Shakti, our creative life force, lies dormant at the base of our spine in the form of a coiled snake. It's worth considering the amount of unawakened potential that lives within. What would life look like if you spoke to it and awakened it? How do we stir it from slumber? The snake card appears when there is no more time to waste. Yeah. When in balance, it brings us into a space of prosperous, creative, charismatic expression and exploration. When out of balance, we start and stop many things. So the follow through, right? This is such a beautiful image. And of course, we got this image this week, right? We're talking about the root. We're talking about the base. And this is where this Kundalini energy lives. This Shakti life force lives. This is where we begin. We begin our quest for the self. We begin our yearning for connection to something greater than ourselves. Whether that's a parent or an image of the divine or a way of expressing ourselves fully in our life or in relationship. And so this card is really, I love how it says the snake is the guardian of unawakened magic and creative potential, because it means that we don't lose it. It's not like if we don't tap into it that it just like dissolves or something. It's like the snake is watching over it. It's holding sacred this potential until we are ready to engage with it and speak with it and dance with it and awaken. So know that right where you are is right where you need to be, and this energy can't cease to exist inside of you. The invitation of this card is to engage with the guardian and the supporter of that sacred wisdom deep, deep in the pelvis. And really that we approach those gates with humility and reverence and ask if we are welcome, right? We ask the gates to the portal to the greater expanse, right? If the pelvic floor is in many ways where we hold the sacred Shakti energy of the universe, then we ask for entrance to that place with love and with delight as a way of connecting to ourselves and also connecting to the whole through the process of inhabiting that space. So I love you. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for being willing. Thank you for being with your own wisdom in this practice and for taking what you need and leaving the rest of the mishigas behind, right? Happy Tuesday. It's such an honor to be with you.